Well, it's great to be here with you today. I promise it's just been amazing to be in your worship service. You know, we could probably just go home now and say, okay, we felt you, God. We felt you, because I just can't tell you what it did to me. I just feel so relaxed and so calm, and that God is here. You know, that's what I kept saying to the Lord, just be here and speak through me, speak your words, and let them see what we're all about. What's this Live Simply all about? We sing the song, Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary. At our church, growing up, we always sing it, Lord, prepare me to be a missionary. And so be careful what you sing, be careful what you pray, because you might be up here one day. God heard that song, and I loved it, and I always would go around singing it. And then I would pray and say, Lord, you know, send me when I got out of high school. Because the biggest question for people is why? Why would you? I'm 24 now. I left the American dream, as we call it, when I was 21. Packed my 2 suitcases and just went to Peru. But it all started when I was younger. My dad, we had a bus ministry in our church, and we'd go get kids, and so that gave me that heart, you know, that heart for others, the heart to give, the heart knowing that there's more to life than just the money. There's more to it than what we just see, what we wear, what we have. And so we went there, and then my dad started going to Peru. And about 6 years ago, I started going to Peru, and I went year after year. And after my 3rd trip, Lord saying, why are you spending this money going back and forth? Why don't you just go? Why don't you just stay? And why don't you just live? You know, these kids exist more than just 10 days out of the year. They're not just kids that you come visit and then they're gone. They're here every single day. While I drive my car up and down the road, they're sitting where they were when I left them. And so the Lord just showed me that over and over, Maisie, just go. And so I quit college when I was 21. I was through my 2nd year, fixing to be done, and the Lord said, stop. That's not heavenly business that you're doing. He said, just go and learn the language. So I went down and was immersed into the culture, and at 21 on, you was hola, ¿cómo estás? And that was it. So it was a long process, but now at 24, I can speak the language, and the Lord's just done so many things. But when I was at that age of, Lord, what do you want with my life? Lord, what can I do for you? And I went in the Word, and I said, okay, Lord, just show me. And he said, go into all the world and preach the gospel. And I went, wait, show me a different verse, you know. No, not me. And he said, Matthew 25:40 says, truly whatever you do unto one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did it for me. And it goes on to say, whenever you feed them, you're feeding me. Whenever you clothe them, you're clothing me. Whenever you hold one of those orphans, you're holding me, Maisie. And I went, whoa, that's what I want to do. I want to walk with them every day. I want to show them this big, great Jesus that we have, this great, big God that we serve. And we have kids that come in our home, and we have a Christian home. We have 2 now. I mean, we'll go into that. But even after 2 days, there was a little boy that was there for 2 days, and I went in after those 2 days, and I met him. And he came up to me, and we were washing windows. And we were washing with just paper towels and water, because you don't have Windex there. So we're just washing them. And he looked at me, he said, have you heard about Jesus? Have you heard about that big God? He's my father. Did you know that? And I said, yeah, I know him. He said, can you tell me more about him? And that was just 2 days, and it was a little 7-year-old, and I'm going, oh no. You know, I'm like, the missionary starts crying. He's like, what's going on? It's a great thing. And I'm going, I know, and it's just amazing what God's done. But to be honest, I loved the American dream, as we call it. Some people say, oh, it's not a dream. Go to Peru, and you'll say, oh, that's a dream. That's something they can't even imagine. That's something they go, what? You have air condition? What's that? You know, you have to explain what's air conditioning in your house. You don't open the windows? No, we, have air conditioning. What do you mean? It's just such a foreign thing to them. And I'm just thankful for the opportunity to be here, for you to open your door and say, hey, Maisie, take your time and talk to us about this ministry, because this is our heart. You know, the mission director said, how much time do you need? And I said, well, I could take all day. I said, you might want to give me a time when I might be up here, and you might just say, okay, church is over. But I'm just going to show you this short clip really quick, and then we'll continue on, and hopefully you enjoy it, and hopefully the Lord's in it. My journey began in 2009 when I took my first trip to Peru. We visited homes for orphans. We were involved in many different activities with the children, from VBS and sharing God's Word to just playing. And I so enjoyed just showing them that they were loved, they were not abandoned, that they had a Father in Christ. I went to change their world, and they changed mine. After I first came home from Peru, My heart was broken, and God showed me that I could not continue living the American dream any longer. I moved to Peru in the fall of 2011. I enrolled in language school and started taking Spanish courses and learning the culture. In the orphanage that I currently work in, there's so much need for God's love, for putting time into their lives and showing them that they are more important than what happened to them. I also work every Saturday in a feeding center in church in a place called Parabarbo, which is on the outskirts of Arequipa. We feed the children and mothers small potatoes and a piece of bread. This church is not equipped with beautiful pews or large stages, but it simply has dirt floors and small stones where we sit and worship God. I continually thank God for the calling that He has placed in my life and for the opportunity to daily be His hands and feet to the children of Peru.
Welcome to beautiful Arequipa, home of Live Simply for Peru. Every day we experience the colors and honor of the great traditions of the ancient Ica Indians. We walk with the alpaca llamas, and we see the incredible architectural work of 14th century conquistadors. Here experience the beauty of a night walk through the Plaza de Armas. Majestic Arequipa is gently tucked at the base of three breathtaking snow-capped volcanoes. Join us now for a quick glimpse of Live Simply for Peru ministry.
Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. Matthew 25:40. Kids dumped out on the street by society, some of them beaten, tortured by the very people that were put here to protect them. These are not kids in orphanages waiting to be adopted. They live and more or less die in the streets, prostitution, stealing, to survive by whatever means they can. They run away from home due to abuse. Sometimes their own mother drops them off on a corner, never to come back. To numb the pain, thousands of street kids inhale glue. The fume of the glue goes straight to the switchboard of the brain. This is the area that controls emotions. The glue allows the kids not to feel the hunger. The glue allows them not to feel the pain and not to feel the fear. Our goal is to share their stories with the world. It's not just about injustice. It's also about hope. Live Simply seeks to rescue orphan and abandoned street children, partnering with local orphanages, churches, and communities, sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ. We need your help to tell their stories. Without funding, the voice of these children will never be heard. Live simply, so others may simply live.
Hello, my name is Maisie Clemmer, and I am in Casa Hogar El Amor de Dios in Arequipa, Peru, and I want you to meet the boys.
Hello, my name is Taylor. Hello, my name is Joseph. Hello, my name is Luis. Hello, my name is Alfredo. Guillermo. Hello, my name is Jorge. Hello, my name is Adrian. Hello, my name is Brian.
My name is Stephanie. Hola.
Yeah. My name is Abel.
My name is Pedro. My name is Brenda.
My name is Berta. This is my son.
My name is Araceli. My name is
Fabricio.
Mauricio. My name is Giselle. Bye.
These orphans are the faces of abuse. May their stories burn a passion in your heart to make a difference in the life of others. We want to be the voice of the orphans. Live Simply seeks to change this legacy one orphan at a time.
Hi, I'm Dave Clemmer, and I'm Maisie's dad. And I'm really humbled to stand up here in front of you. I'm really humbled to see the love that my daughter had walking in, from the fireman to the pastor, to Melanie, and to others, just to love on my kid. No greater victory is to know your child's walking in the truth. And growing up back in the day, I had a 1, 2, and 4-year-old, and their mom left me as a single dad. And over the 20-some years, I was their hero, and now my daughter's my hero. It's been an amazing journey. Live Simply for Peru, really, it's just 4 of us. It's our family of 4, getting ready to sell everything, to move and get rid of the American dream, and to live for others, as the Bible's taught us, as we've grown up talking about all along. Just to kind of give you a backdrop, about 3 years ago, on about my 8th or 9th trip, 2:30 in the morning, Lima, Peru, got off the airplane with my daughter and my son-in-law and daughter, and we met a lady from Bucaramanga, Colombia, in Lima, Peru, and her name was Angela Cristina Hernandez Diaz. And as a single dad for 20-some years, never dating, because I felt the Lord allowed me to have the privilege to raise my kids, I met Angela, and as we were walking through Ica, giving out water with my kids, this Colombian that I never met said, "I think God wants me to go full-time in missions." And for the first time ever, right, I came back to the room like a little girl, and I giggled, and I'm like, I think God has put somebody in my life. So Angela Cristina Hernandez Diaz Clemmer is currently in Arequipa, Peru, filling in for our daughter. We have been blessed through El Amor de Dios, through the Children's Center, we committed that, hey, we can open that boys' home. They were all under one roof, and God showed us a way or led us to the calling, to get rid of the retirement and the savings and throw it into a bunch of kids that aren't going to be anything unless we do something about it. So we're privileged to be there and privileged to be in that position. She's down there now. Maisie's been down there for 3 years. And just to bring you current on Maisie's situation, she met a boy. Really to backtrack real quick is she didn't know anybody, couldn't speak the language, couldn't speak English or Spanish real good. So she started going to the English Institute. And she met a girl who said, "Hey, you need to meet my brother." And his name is Sandro. And the backdrop of Sandro is, we didn't know the backdrop of Sandro other than he's a great guy, and he's a college graduate, works general construction, shift leader, and everything about him is beautiful and great spirit. And in November, he asked me in Arequipa, Peru, for my daughter's hand. And of course, we knew that was God sent. Just to backtrack though, Sandro is an amazing guy. He's from this place called Chiricato, Peru. Look it up. It's not on the map. It's a shanty town. It's a squatter town. That's what they do in those communities. They squat on the land, and after years, they try to get enough people to maybe run power, maybe run sewerage, and maybe have a piece of land that's theirs. It is a cartel-driven area, as you know. It's still, there's a heavy influence of the cocoa leaf and cocaine, but it's the cocoa leaf. It's not the processed part. I'm not justifying it. It's just the reality of their culture. So it's a rougher area. But long story short, we met this man named Sandro, and he's one of 6, and he's a middle kid, and his family was so poor that they put him on the street as a 7-year-old. And you and I were like, oh man, that's horrible. You know, my heart was sunk. That's my daughter's husband. That's her future. And he said, no, Dave. He said, I got my first pair of shoes. He got his first pair of shoes at 7, and he met a Christian. You know how God does those things. He puts that right person in your life, and he introduces them to Jesus Christ. And my son-in-law is a born-again Christian, serving the Lord, and all these years later, he was on the streets, slept in a car for 2 years, went family to family till he was 13 years old. but God had a bigger plan, and he got to go home and he got to work and put himself through high school, paid for his own college, and now he's a college graduate. And in that journey, he met my daughter. He met an American, the first American that he's ever had conversation with, and oh, she's a missionary, and oh, not only is she a missionary, she's a missionary to orphans, and oh, she's a missionary to orphans in Chericarto, where Sandro walked the same streets with the same kids. He can share the same stories, and he can tell them how Jesus Christ changed his life, not us, how Jesus Christ came into his life. And it's a little more street credibility, right? When he's saying, look at me, and look where I'm at. And oh, by the way, Sandro is taking night courses to be the director at the orphanage. So we've come full circle. That's just the backdrop. It's been an amazing journey. We appreciate the prayers and support and the love, and we pray that it'll lead maybe to some teams coming and to a better dialogue between the ministry and what we're doing. Maisie, if you want to come up, we just wanted to kind of real quick walk through a couple kids, give you their stories, give updates on some that you don't know and some that you do know. And if you could put the first picture up, please.
Okay, well, there's another Bible verse in the Bible that says, open thy mouth, plead the cause of the poor and needy. And that's what we're doing today, is we're pleading their cause to you. And this picture doesn't need much of an explanation. You can see him on the ground praying over the little food that they have. And the top says, someone is praying for what you take for granted, which just doesn't need an explanation. And we can turn to the next one. This is Alex. This is where I'll start telling my stories. He's been in our home for about 6 months now. He came in, you can see me in the background, signing him in, signing documents saying that we'll take him. And he came in with his little bag. He sat on the bench and didn't move. We gave him a little bit of food because he hadn't eaten in a while. But Alex's story is his mom is in Lima, which is about an 18-hour bus ride away, with terminal cancer. And he was living with his brother and sister. His father's an alcoholic. He hadn't been to school in a year because his father just worked to drink and was very abusive. And so one day Alex just left. He left his home, went to the bus station, and he found a police officer. And the police officer said, no, come with me before you go with someone you shouldn't, because it's very common there. A kid will do what they have to survive on the streets. So Alex came with the cop, and the cop brought him to our orphanage, knowing we're Christians, knowing we'll take any kid that you bring us. We never turn a kid away. He came, and his dad did come 2 weeks after for him, saying, I want my son back. And Alex pleaded, and he said, please don't send me back. Please, for once I get to go to school. For once I have a meal at the table 3 times a day. For once I'm not scared anymore. I can sleep in my bed, and I'm okay at night. So Alex has been with us for 6 months, and he's just an amazing little boy that God's just brought his personality out. He's gotten a little bit thicker. He's got a belly now, so we're all happy that he's gained a little weight, but he's just an amazing kid. Go to the next one. This is us at our special needs center. We also help a special needs center. It's a very poor place. It's a place we walked in. I went in with my fiance, Sandro, and they didn't have water, and they didn't have sewage, they didn't have electricity. And we walked in, and there's 15 kids. They said, what do you do? And they said, well, we just do what we have to. We just get by. And they give them bread that's 3 or 4 days old that the bakeries just throw away, and they'll go and get it. But this is our ministry as well. And this is Angel, and Angel is a little boy that'll light up your world in an instant. He'll smile at you, or he'll say something, or he'll kiss you on the cheek. And the Lord's just so bless us in that ministry as well. Next picture. This is Brian. Brian's been with us for about 2-3 years. I'm sure some of you probably know him if you've been to the orphanage. But Brian, he has a really cool story, because we didn't go searching for him. He came searching for us. He came and knocked on the door one day, and he asked, do you have hot showers here? Because within the community, we're known to be a Christian place. We're known to open our door to whoever knocks. We're known that we have hot showers. And so the street children will come up sometimes, and sometimes they'll come in and then they'll leave. But Brian, he stayed. He took his shower, and then he said, do y'all have warm food to eat? And we said, yeah, we have food. So he sat down and he ate. And then he saw the toys and said, can I play for a little while? And he said, yeah, go ahead and play. And it was bedtime, and Jose, the house father, was just standing there. And he asked him, he said, do you have a bed that I can sleep in the night? And Jose said, sure, sleep. And the next morning he woke up and he said, can I just live here? He said, yes, you can. And so he's been with us for 2 years, came in with nothing. We had to scrounge and find clothes and socks and all the little stuff that little boys need, and toothbrush, because he hadn't brushed his teeth in a long time. But Brian, just a cool story, because God just brought him so far. He's been with us. He started school. He was a little behind, but we're trying to get him catched up. And it's an amazing story there. But I'll go to the next. This is Cindy, and you can see her little baby boy is in the bed. His name is Lucas. Cindy is 24 years old. She's my age. She has 2 children already, and she was in a place called Iquitos, which is in the jungle area. One night, she was leaving work really late, and 3 guys jumped her, and all 3 of them raped her. And one of them is this baby's father. And so she came into our home saying, I don't want this baby. Just let me live here until I can have him, and then I'll leave and just, abandon my child. And we said, no, just come in and you can work with us, and let's see how we can change your life. Let's see how we can introduce God, and maybe that'll change you. Because every time you asked her, oh, you're pregnant? She'd say, yeah, but I didn't want it. This wasn't my choice. I don't want this baby. And even when the baby was born, she'd pick him up to feed him and lay him down, and you'd hear him crying, and we'd go pick him up and love him. But slowly through God's love and her seeing our love for these kids that are abandoned street kids, she said, oh, you know what? Just like a mother would do, she said, that's my child. And here he got sick. About a month ago, he was sick, and he was in the hospital for 3 or 4 days, and she stayed beside him, didn't leave his side. And she said, this is my baby, Lord, I want him. Don't take him away from me. And so it's just amazing to see how God can totally change a mother's heart and give her the love for a small child. I'll go to the next. This is Mabel. You don't see her face because she doesn't like pictures. You saw her in the video, and I had to tell her what to say 5 times to get that one shot. But she's an amazing girl. I believe some of you have met Mabel. Mabel is just the light. You come into our orphanage, and she's in the corner, and she says, don't leave me, Maisie. And she'll hold my hand. She said, don't leave me. I don't know these people. Don't leave me. But Mabel's story, she's now 16. She's been in our home for 4 years. But her story starts, I guess, when she was 7. She was a normal girl, ran through the fields, had a single mother. Her mother would work. She'd run around while her mother worked. And between the age of 7 and 10, Mabel slowly started losing control of her nerves, control of her nerve system. And so by the age of 10, she couldn't walk. So she would just lay in the bed, and her mom would go to the field and work for the day, and then come home, take her to the bathroom, put on her back, and go to the market and do her different things throughout the day that she needed to do with her child on her back. And one day, Mabel's mother met a boyfriend, and he said, your daughter's just a burden. She's not worth it. Why don't you just abandon her? Why don't you just do something? She said, no, but it's my child. He said, well, it's your choice. Either me or her. Choose one of us. And so one day, Mabel's mom came home, took her to the bathroom, did the normal things, and then said, get a small bag together. We're going to go to a hotel and rent a room. And she said, well, why? We have this room here that we're renting. Why do we have to rent another one? And her mom said, don't ask anything. Let's just go. Her mother walked into the hotel room, laid her on the bed, and said, I'll be right back. I need to go talk to a friend. And that was the last time Mabel saw her mother. So at 10 years old, she's laying in a bed, couldn't move, couldn't do anything, just laid there until the next morning. A cop came in, they called the police, and she went from orphanage to orphanage. No one really knew how to take care of her. What do we do with this 10-year-old that doesn't have a wheelchair, doesn't have anything? What do we do? And the judge called the house, and the house father said, yes, we'll take her. If we can find something better, we'll send her somewhere else, but we'll take her. And she came into our home in a little plastic chair. They'd pick up and move her, and then pick it up and move her, and finally got support for a wheelchair. And so now she has a wheelchair. And but she's a joy to our house. She really is. She's an amazing girl that God's just given a beautiful smile to whenever you get her to smile. But the kids are amazing with her because she still can't do anything. We give her medicine in the morning to help with the nerve system so she can write a little bit, but she still has to wait to go to the bathroom. One of the girls had to take her to the bathroom. One of the girls have to change her every day. But my Belle's an amazing little girl. You can see her doing her homework here, and she doesn't want help. I'll say, do you want me to hold your book? Nope, I'll do it. Nope, I'll do it. So she's just an amazing child. This is my Bella again. She'll try to walk any chance you get her. If you get too near, she'll say, will you pick me up and let me walk? Because she still has that hope of, hey, maybe one day. Hey, maybe one day we have something that God can do in her life. And there's been different doctors that looked at her and said, yeah, I could do the surgery. There's a surgery we could do, but you need a parental signature. And we don't know where her mother is, or we don't know who her father is or anything. So my Bella sits in that chair knowing, if I had a mom or if I had a dad, maybe my life could be different, but I don't. So I sit here day in and day out. But she's just an amazing girl. This is Roxana and Mateo. We'll go ahead and change the picture because we have another one of her as well. That was her washing his diapers. When he was younger, he had cloth diapers. And we say cloth diapers, and you think of the nice ones, with the little... The little ones that we have nowadays. But what she uses is a t-shirt. She'll rip up 2 t-shirts and put it on them and tie them. And when she gets wet, she has to go and wash them and put some new t-shirts on them. And that's what she does. But you wouldn't know it, but she had this little boy whenever she was 11. This wasn't by choice. This wasn't one of those, hey, I want to go out into the world and I want to do something. This was in home. Her brother raped her. And so now she has a little boy. She's pregnant. He didn't get put out on the street. She did. When they saw the stomach starting to grow, they said, what's going on? And she had to say what had happened. She said, but I didn't want that, But they said, okay. And she was out on the street. And so she came to us, and we said, we'll accept you. And she came in and had this little boy. His name's Mateo. Mateo, you can tell, is affected by the incest. He still doesn't talk well. He didn't get his first tooth till he was 1.5. He didn't walk that great. But it's just amazing what the Lord's done in her life, because even though she has that ugliness, we see, ooh, that's really an ugly story. But God can take those ashes and make something so much more beautiful. And now she can sit with our girls. She's 13 now, and she can sit down and tell her story. And she can say, hey, I know where you've been, and look where God can take you. And she can do the devotions and lead us and pray, and she's an amazing girl. But that is their story as well. Go ahead and change it. This is Arequipa. This is just one of the breathtaking beauties of God that shows, day in and day out, I go through my day and sometimes I go, man, it's ugly here, Lord. Man, I don't like the dirt. Man, I don't like getting on a combi, our little buses, and going around town. And then he'll point my eyes up, and I'll see the mountains or the volcanoes, and I go, oh, okay, Lord, you are beautiful. It's just that, again, that beauty from the ashes, the good from the bad. And this is Adrian. That's our last picture. I want us to leave that up and go from there. Do you want to go?
You are the miracle I prayed for. That was the first time I went into El Amor de Dios, and we all got down and to pray. And so when we got ready to pray, they lay dormant. They lay on the ground, and they reach out, and they talk to God, and they put hands on us, and they were praying. Let David be the miracle that changes my life. And we recognize that God was talking very forward, that everyone in here, we have the ability to change these lives through Jesus Christ. So we thank you for your time today. We thank you for the interest, and we have some information we'd love to share in the back about some of the kids and some opportunities you might have to get to know them better. The cool thing with internet and Skype and email is we've done a really cool job of bringing these kids to life, and we've Skyped with groups, let them Skype with our boys and girls to know they're real and to see what it's about and to learn from them as we try to mentor them. But we appreciate your time. Thank you, Pastor, for the pulpit, and live simply so others can simply live. Thank you.